Guys, Chris Buckler here with Letting Agent Today. Now I'm joined by Nick Lyons of No Letting Go. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. I've got to ask you off the bat, inventories, COVID, what's happened? Has it changed?
Well, it's been a very interesting year, as you can imagine, as for everyone. But certainly the inventory market has had an interesting year in the sense that we deal with a lot of people. So the market has had to change the way that we interact with a great deal of people, and of course letting agents as well. We're in the process of, for example, collecting keys from an agent that's throughout the COVID period hasn't been in the office. So that in itself has been challenging. And then on top of that, it's been how do we deal with people and not having to interact with people. So all of that sort of stuff across the offices has been pretty challenging in itself. So that's been interesting from that perspective.
Okay, so what would you do then if I'm watching this now and I'm thinking I need to future-proof my letting agency after COVID? What would you do?
Well, obviously, I'm talking at it from an inventory perspective primarily because that's my bag, if you like. Inventories over the years have become as much compliance documents as they have become evidence-based condition reporting. So I think going forward, what's happened in the market is that agents are certainly what we're seeing in the market. A lot is that agents are consolidating a great deal. There's been an increase in people outsourcing, not just with inventories, but across the whole board. We're seeing a great deal of that market shifting. So people, I think, are cutting down necessarily on the people in their offices and using a lot more specialists in the sector. And of course, we're seeing a lot more automation happen. So, replacing sort of mundane tasks a great deal with a lot of the sort of tech that's coming into the market. And there's been some really interesting technology advances in that, certainly the last 2 or 3 years on that side. So that's been really, really interesting for not just us, but for all people in the market.
Okay, so let's say I'm in the individual lettings business. I know that you're going to see lots of themes that occur throughout the industry. If you had to pick one that I should be aware of, what would that be?
Well, I think there's probably two. I mean, I know you asked for one, but it's probably two that I'll jump on. And I think from different angles, coming out of COVID, there's going to be a lot of challenges for letting agents. Not least, obviously there's all the issues that are quite openly discussed around evictions, rent arrears, all that sort of stuff. But of course, one of the areas that many of us forget is that the government relaxed a whole load of legislation. Right to rent is a good example. And of course, pretty much as of next month, I think mid-May-ish, what's going to happen is that those legislation is going to kick back in. And so all the rules are going to have to go back. And one of the challenges that a lot of letting agents have got is making sure that you don't get caught up in that trap. So you've got that in terms of challenges going forward and readjusting yourself. The other thing I think is probably the area that has the most opportunity is, of course, around using technology. And one of the big technology at the moment, there's some fantastic stuff around. We work with a lot of great companies. Our systems integrate along with other companies like fixed flows and depositories and that sort of thing. But one of the things you have to be a little careful, of course, is not jumping in and into shiny things, so to speak, and just thinking, fantastic, that looks great. If it doesn't fit into your customer journey, if it doesn't work for you, every letting agent, depending on your size, complexity, has a whole different sort of tie into it. So it's very much about focusing on that.
Okay, brilliant. We've got about 35 seconds left. So if you're a letting agent in Birmingham, Belfast, Bognor Regis, you're going to give one quick tip. What would that be?
Well, the one tip I would would probably look at is take technology seriously, use it effectively, and work very closely with all the expert suppliers around you to get the best value out of them and give the best value into your clients, and then you'll retain landlords and tenants forevermore.
Do you know, I think we're bang on the money in about 3 seconds. You'll hear my alarm. There we go. Let me stop that. Nick, thank you so much. For everyone here at Letting Agent Today, we wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll speak to you soon.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care.